Hello everybody, this is Eloy and Goran from EffectiveTDs, and today we're going to talk about APFs.
Yeah, APF is awesome, a new feature on Drop 6, so we will see what it is and what we can do with it.
Right, so what is going on is that I have been working a lot with Houdini recently, so I wasn't able to follow up with the latest updates with Thinking Particles, and then Eloy posted this amazing video about this new features with the APFs, which is all-purpose fields, and I just thought, hey, why don't you explain to me what it is and how it works, and yeah, show me the tricks, man.
Okay, I will try. So basically what it is, most of the people, I guess, that knows what force field, you saw it. Genome can do force fields, I think. It's Genome. It's a stock basically. Yeah, a stock basically. It's a force field. So in a 3D space, you have a representation of force, and you can direct how you want this force to be.
So it's basically like a volume.
It's
like a fume volume with velocities,
exactly.
Or stoke volume with velocities.
But the cool thing is that it's called all-purpose fields because it's not only force fields. So you can store whatever on this volume. You can store velocities, but you can store colors, or you can store any kind of data.
Right, so any float or vector data.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, perfect. So it's a volume.
Yes,
okay.
of data.
But this time it is inside TP, so we don't have to go to another plugin like Fume or Stoke or whatever,
exactly.
Bifrost or whatever can do volumes. We can directly create and read them in Thinking Particles.
Yes.
All right, how about you show me how this is being used and how it works?
Okay, let's try it. So what do you want? We want to create...
Let's try just a simple wind from left to right.
Okay, so let's do that. It needs to be mentioned that also APF, it can use BDBs to accelerate some stuff, and it can read information to your mesh and create it very, very, very fast. So,
right, so it is based on VDB and not on just volumetric grid, like box grids.
We have both.
You can use both.
Yeah, so we can use VDBs or we can use a box grid.
Is that like a TP format, or is it like the Fume format, or what is the box format?
The box format, when you write it writes it in VDBs, but how do you create it? It's basically a volume that you create in an insert data there.
Okay, so you always start with a cubic box, but then it saves VDBs, which automatically only save data of voxels that have any data, so it doesn't save empty voxels.
Yes.
Or are you talking about SDFs? Why don't you just open it up?
Yes.
And then we go...
Because you can do a lot of things. So let's just start creating one generically. Because it doesn't need even to be a square. You can create an APF based on the geometry. So it will create the field based on the distance to geometry. Okay. So it doesn't need to be a square, but well.
Let's do that.
Let's just start with a square and then we will create more stuff.
Okay.
Another cool stuff that you need to know is that even you can create fields per particle, so each particle can create his own field.
Oh wow, okay.
So then it starts to become more and more complex and
procedural. But that is then huge amount of data.
But you can do it, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start simple and work all the way up.
So let's create a field. We will create here an APF system. APF. So you will see that we have APF fields and we have all things that we can do, all nodes that we can do to manipulate and create. So first we want to create the field. We want to know the dimensions. We had two values right now. We had dimension and we have cells per dimension. These two values work together. So
that looks very familiar from the fluid.
Yes.
Okay.
I was talking with Edwin why we need two values when it's in fact one. These will evolve and do other stuff. So basically, if we decrease this, we will have more resolution, and if we increase that, we will have more resolution, and both work together. So we will start like that. Here you have options on when do you want to evaluate, how many often do you want to evaluate this field. By default, it's on simulation start. This means that on the first frame, it will create the field, and then it's simply
static,
it's static. You will need that if your object is not deforming. Because if your object, your initial object is
basically
moving,
if you're fine with static data.
yes, but the field also will read orientation and position of your object and scale. So if you have a particle and you create a field based on this particle and this particle move, you can leave that as a simulation start. It will create the field once.
Move the field with the particle.
Exactly.
But how is then okay? So there is fields that are linked to a particle, and then you can use those fields for particles that move through the field and then read the data based on where they are inside that field.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right now we will not start creating fields on a particle. We can do this later. We will create a static field. But know that you can do that.
Okay, then let's do simple.
Yeah, and then we have per subsample. So on each subsample, it will reevaluate the field.
That is only if it's
deforming. Basically, if your object is deforming, you will need subsample. And when you do have
sounds like crazy amount of data.
Yes, we have been using it, and it's kind of like not bad. Because
it depends also on your resolution.
But you don't need to write this. You can have only this to drive other particles. So you will save at the end your particles.
Okay.
And also you have none. None, what it will do is that it will evaluate once. And when your simulation restarts, it will still be using
the old one.
The old one.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's quite cool because then if you don't need to change the field and you change other options, it will take no time to keep working. So by default, let's go by simulation start, and you have n of range. What do you want to do? So if you have a box with this APF, what if a particle is outside the box? What will do?
Okay.
So by default, none, and then you have options.
But wait a second. Now I'm confused. Sorry. This field is generating APFs, or this node is wait a second. This node is generating those fields. So when you have...
It's not really generating those fields. This node is only having information about resolution and display, but it's not really generating the field yet.
Okay.
You need other nodes for that.
Okay. So your EOR range, is that for the particles that are moving through the field? What happens to them
when they are out? If the particle doesn't found any
I get it.
field, what will?
So it's like the fume effects follow out of grid. Same thing.
Yes, I guess.
Okay, cool.
And you have here you will be able, if you want to import a VDB or export a VDB.
Awesome. We should try that later with some VDBs from Houdini.
We have to try if it works.
Let's test it.
Yes. So far
later.
Yeah, we was able to work with this, exporting and importing from inside TP.
Okay.
We tried with some VDBs coming from Fume, and for some reason, it's okay. But let's keep it for like that for now. So we don't have the field really yet there. We need to generate the field.
So we just gave it dimensions.
Yes. So we need to define a box where our field will be. So for that, we will go to APF. And we need to create an initiator. This will initiate our field.
But this is the creator. This is like the field-born node.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This will create our field. So now we want to say we want to read data from the APA field. So we point which AP field we want to use.
So we can have multiple resolutions of fields.
Exactly, it's TP, so you can have multiple things. We want a box right now, but we can use different things, like shape distance. Shape distance is the one that is using VDBs.
Okay.
So it's faster. But for now, we will use box. You have other options. You can have particles also creating VDBs for us. So
right. Okay,
let's start simple. Let's start a box. So by default, this will go at 0, 0, 0. With these dimensions, and you have the position where it will go, and you have inputs here if you want to plug a node, so you want to move this field. Okay,
so our dimensions were 10, 10, 10 by 1, 1, 1, and now it's the size of 100, 100.
Exactly.
So can you go back to the APA field?
Yes.
So we have 110. So we're going to have a 100 grid with 10 cells, and because our size is 100, we're going to have a grid 10 by 10 by 10 voxels, which is 1,000 voxels.
I expect more or less.
Or is it 10,000 voxels?
No, I think it's 10.
It's 1,000 boxes.
1,000 boxes,
Okay.
yes. So we will not see anything yet, I think. To see something, we need to go to APF and let's show something because we are not showing anything. We can show the bounding box and we don't see anything neither. So this
How comes?
Well, things happen. We need the accumulate. That's what we need.
What's the accumulate?
The accumulate is accumulating data from the initiator. That's what we need, not the output 2. The output 2 will be a second step. So the accumulate is receiving data from the initiator.
Okay. Oh, so it's like the SC solver or the VB volume breaker node, and then all the other nodes, they need to point to this guy, and then that guy is kind of solving in the background.
Kind of.
Okay.
So this is receiving all data from the position of the cells that we create.
Okay.
And it stores it, is what I was missing. So now we need to do some connections like the C index position. So we connect the index position to this index position. This means the position of each rasterize of the volume, where it goes.
Okay.
So now in theory, we should see something.
We see a box.
And we see a nice box with a raster that for some reason
It's diagonal.
it's diagonal. I don't know why it's fucked up.
Don't.
Fucked up, it's fine. Go on.
No.
So we have that. So it's kind of working.
So okay, what methods do we have to show the data?
There is no data right now.
I know, but like now we're showing cell points,
We are
positions.
Yes, we have cell positions. We have bounding box, that is our bounding box. We have the average that we will see something when we have some forces there.
Right.
Right now we don't have any force, so we don't see anything.
Okay, so go back to cell position and change the cell reduce to 1.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good.
So it shows every 5th cell, that's why.
Yes. You're so smart.
Well, I'm not first time working with volumes.
Good. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, this always is on by default. That it's kind of like odd, and you will see some reducing of the cells. But we have these 1,000 cells. We have 10 cells per dimension. So now we say that we will do a force from left to right. Okay.
Just in the X direction.
In an X direction. So on the accumulate, we have position that we don't want. We want velocity. We want plug a velocity there. So to do a left to right, we only need 0.3 operator. We can plug directly this here. The good thing about APF is that you can use all helpers that you have in TP. All works there. We can use intersections, we can use geom nodes.
Yeah, well,
we can
all it asks in the end is the data that comes
Exactly.
in. Everything else is TP.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now let's add a force of 10 on the X. And we are still displaying the points. We can go directly on the accumulate APF show that is linked to this APF
So
field.
every node has this display thing.
Yes,
Okay.
so you can access without going back and forth. We have, instead of cell position, we will go to average. We want to display forces. So we have something, but it's small. We can increase the scale to see what's going on.
Okay, nice.
And now we have a force from left to right.
Okay, perfect.
And we have our first field. To see that this is working, we can create some particles and assign it to this field.
Well, you did already.
Yeah, yes, but so you have these particles that right now are on 0, and they have velocity. So let's bring the speed at 0, and let's.
But they're not connected, are they?
They are not connected yet.
Okay.
But right now they are on the same position. Let's increase the distance at 20. Let's create some variation there.
Well, you need to give it velocity.
And no, you don't need it.
Yes.
No. Why? There.
Alright. Haven't used TP in a while.
No. Yeah. So yeah, this it's a distance based on this variation there. So they are not moving because we didn't connect these particles to this field.
Right.
How we do that? We can create it there, and it's what we created before, but that was not the time to do it. And it's the AP field output 2. We will be able to use as well 2 by the moment. So we need to say which AP field we want to use for our particles and which particle we want to apply to. So right now, and we want to output to force. We can use velocity, or since we can store any data, we can read any data there. let's use as a force right now. So we should see our particles moving to the right.
Okay.
So we have something working there.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have our first.
I could have done that with one force node.
Yes.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you. This is amazing because you have control over different spaces through TP. To like in every different position, you can give it a different force. So this is my next question. Actually, I think this is amazing. But how would I now make this force go to the right at the bottom and to the left at the top, and gradually switch between the two vectors? So let's say at the bottom is x1 and at the top is -1. How do you put that into your vector field?
Okay, that's maybe the next smarter step to do.
Right.
So bottom left to right and top right to left?
Yes. Because I see only one input, but how do you give it the input per voxel?
Okay, that's the next question. Let's think how we will do that. In TP, we will need a position to read what is the bottom and what is the top.
Right.
We can do that with a value to value maybe.
Okay.
Helper, standard, value to value. We know that this is -50 and this will be 50, right? So, and we can read the position wall. This position wall is giving us the position of each cell in which position.
So this is an iterator that iterates through all the voxels.
Yes, we can think about that like in 3 iterators in one.
Right.
One for each axis.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So now let's say that we want to access the position of this position wall.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we can access which axis we want to read from that. So we will read the z-axis. We are doing this on the fly, so maybe sometimes we can...
Things will explode maybe, and then...
Yeah. So now we want to read that. We want that our minimum will be -50, and our maximum will be 50, because we know that our box is 100 units. And we want that when it's -50, this will go at -1, and when it's 50, this goes at 1.
Yeah.
And then...
Don't you usually use min and max outputs?
No.
Because I think that is an input, no?
You are right.
Right.
You are right.
Still got it.
No, 1 second. I am right.
Are you?
Yeah. I never avoid to use that.
No, but
this is our output.
The way I understand it is that this is how you map your range.
Yes.
What comes in over that curve that you're drawing. So in comes 0, but you only start at the 0 at 0.5.
No. Well, you can think it and you can use this in multiple ways.
Let's just try it and see what happens.
Yeah, but well, I can explain you that. So basically, the x here defines our inputs. So we are saying that when our data is here, it's -50. When our data is here, it's 50. So when our data, the input is 50, the output of this node will be this 1.
Okay.
And when the data is -50, it means that it's here. Our output will be -1. So this will output -1.
Okay.
You can also do it like that, but for me, I prefer using it on the curve.
Okay, cool.
And then you can multiply these values here, but I also like to create a float there to multiply this. Basically, because it's easily to... If I need to access this, I want to multiply these values.
I have seen that there is now a new math node that shows you what is happening inside. Why don't we use that? Just to show this new feature.
Yes. I don't use it because I like the float when I need only to multiply, because it's only one value.
I see.
And it's only one input.
I see.
But Goran is right. We have this math node that evolved a lot. So we will be able to use that as a multiplication. You saw it, Goran?
Well, you need to set both floats first, inputs.
No,
at the top, there's 2 inputs.
Oh yeah, right. That's why I don't use the math, because you need to have both connections. And you will need an extra.
Right.
So now you can add multiplication and automatically it renames.
That is
the math.
amazing. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it helps. It takes a while to convince them to implement that, but we are using math operators over and over.
Yeah.
And well, it simply makes sense to know what it's doing instead of math, because you can have like 50 of this math and you need to rename it manually.
Yeah.
Now you know what it's doing.
Cool.
And as well, we have more operations there to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
they add much more things.
And the matrix. I love the matrix.
The matrix. So yeah, you should do a tutorial about that, because
Okay.
with matrix I am kind of lost.
I had to learn so much more about matrices in Houdini. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you use vector, you will see that now we have collide deflector, and
Whoa, what is collide?
collide.
Is where the two vectors intersect?
Yeah, kind
Nice.
of. Yeah.
I have an old black box that does that.
Yeah.
Very, very old, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of collisions. But right now,
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. We are explaining a lot of things. So right now we have these force multiplied by a value, and we can connect these on the x. So instead of having a fixed x, we will have a variable x based on our conditions here.
Mhm.
Well, not conditions, but values. So if you can see that right now it remaps based on colors. You can
okay.
change these colors there. So you have,
Yeah, that is the speed. That's
The
why in the
speed?
middle it's blue, where
Yes.
it's 0 speed, and then at the outside.
yes,
We cannot show this as arrows, can we?
no, this will be smart to do. We don't have arrows.
Okay.
But now we will see that our particles,
Nice.
they go right and left.
Okay. Why is the top stronger than the bottom?
There is more particles on the top than on the bottom.
No. We're going faster.
Yeah.
Yes. See?
So, yes.
I know why it is.
Yeah. Tell
Yeah.
me.
I think you were not correct with the value to the value.
I think that it's not that. I think that it's that this it's adding. No, you were right.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
You were correct.
I was right.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So much.
Yeah, we have always this conflict with Vera about who is right. You will
This
see
is,
that
this is the first time in history that Ila was right and I was wrong.
I am pretty sure that not, but well. So
Alright.
we had this going higher because this value of 10 was adding over
Okay,
this.
amazing. So that was the basics of APFs. I'm stoked. I am using this in Houdini so much, and seeing this in TP is just really great.
Do you think that the workflow to create AP fields it's easier in TP than in Houdini?
It's different. Like, because Houdini is not TP. Houdini is just the whole software is one giant TP. So I can show you how you have to do that in Houdini.
Will be great, yeah.
Yeah, why don't we do that, and then we go the next level, one step higher, back to TP, and then I recreate that higher level in Houdini. So we keep comparing the two possibilities and the strengths of each software.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Let's do that in the next video. But yeah, that was amazing. Thanks, Eli.
You're welcome, Garan.